Hey VC, Jeff back again. It's a really long week this week. Hope you're good. I think it's a decent sized stack. It's not a huge one today. Yes, hope you're well. Let's figure I'll just jump right in here. Stuff I had on the turntable this week. This is something I picked up in Japan a while back. I used to have this on CD. I guess it's just straight up techno. Not a big techno guy, but always did kind of like this album. So Kenichi, kind of big DJ. I want to say he's from Tokyo. He might be from Osaka, but I think he's a Tokyo DJ. Did get to see him once. But yeah, he was quite big in the 90s in Japan, maybe early 2000s. This one, I want to say it's like 90, or 99 is right there, right on it. This is a Japanese copy. It's all Japanese. I'm not sure if it ever had an OP or not. Double album. Probably his most famous album. So the DJs over there, like yeah, DJ Crush, which I think DJ Crush is a little better, but and then Kenichi. I don't know, plays a big clubs, whatever. So just pretty much techno. Not much to say there. It's good for what it is. It's not really, personally, yeah, 4-ish. A lot of that's nostalgia factor. Um, I don't know if it's techno as a whole is really held up that well, but yeah, but it's a pretty good album for techno, I guess. Yeah, if you're in if it tickles your interest or whatever, I'm tired, man. Yeah, just check it out. But um, it's a good one from that genre, and he's definitely one of the best Japanese DJs, techno wizard, whatever. I don't know. Not really my wheelhouse full on. This one shows up in the VC a lot. Don't need to really talk about it. Got lucky, found probably a VG Plus ish copy. Yeah, it's got the cutout, the die cuts early. I think it's the first pressing. Yeah, so I was pretty happy to find that. I think it's like $7 ish. So I just grabbed it before someone else did. Cause it's the first time I've seen this in pretty good shape. Without being all trashed. So excellent, yeah, soul album, soundtrack of course, from Curtis Mayfield. So love that. 4.5 for me. That's pretty solid. This one gets 5. Sean definitely would like this. This is Eebo, which yeah, it's really messed. Oh, great, Miss Carlin. So kind of odd spelling, but yeah, Eebo would mean wart in Japanese. That actually might be my car alarm. 1 second. I guess that was not my car alarm. Okay, so Eebo. So this is like proto Zenigeva. So it's kind of like almost like an original lineup of Zenigeva, pre-Zenigeva, so 86. I believe this one was recorded live. So this is a little more in the noise rock realm. It still has some kind of proggy elements. It's got what's his name? Yoshida Tatsuya on drums. He's right there in the striped shirt, and a very young-looking. Yeah, he always looked old, I guess, even when he was young. And then in the very back, he's hard to see, is KK Null. I can't look in this backwards. Yep, KK Null with hair. Every time I've seen him, he's been bald. And in the middle, you got Kitamura, who unfortunately passed away some years ago. But yeah, very, very, very good album. Yeah, this cover's kind of famous in Japan for being kind of nationalistic-ish. I guess amongst the like the more punk underground crowd. Definitely not a mainstream album. This is a pretty, so not a very easy album to get a hold of in the U.S. I got lucky. Found somebody who was selling it for a reasonable price. Picked it up. He has the album that came out right before this too, and I'm kind of tempted to pick it up. But yeah, this is definitely the better album. Slightly easier to get a hold of in Japan is on a pretty minor label, I think CSV. mean, it's a really flimsy cover, but yeah, it's like a minty condition. I'm really happy to get a hold of this at the price I got it. So, yeah, I don't even know what it's called, but yeah. Anyway, awesome. Eebo. Awesome Japanese noise rock, circa mid 80s. Pretty timeless sounding. They don't go really out there. You know, it's got some Mellotron on there, but yep. And then this was a fairly recent pickup. I kind of regret not getting originals in Japan. Who knows? Maybe I'll do it. But Dead Boys, Young, Loud, and Snotty. This is that recent UK pressing. I'm still coming around. This is like one of those things like Vinyl Rejoice points out. Limited edition, so they do different colors, they do a press 1,000, then they wait 6 months to a year, price goes skyrocketing, and then they press more. So yeah, if you miss this one, you'll get it eventually. Album itself, yeah, 4.5. It's a little uneven, but it's a pretty classic 77 punk album. This one might be 78, I can't remember. No, it's 77. Yep, this is the one that has Sonic Producer on it. That's where you want to start. Enough said. People talk about that all the time in the DC. It's you know, it's punk. It sounds decent for what it is. What else I got? This was surprisingly a thrift pickup. This was on my buy list. I just happened to do it. Suspects. And that's another alarm going off. Let's continuing. Okay, Suspects. I'd say they're a DC band. They sort of are. They're actually from Arlington, you know, Arlington Cemetery. I don't know. So technically, they're 10 minutes outside of DC in the suburbs. It's a bunch of working class guys. This one came out like late 90s. I'm guessing 98ish, 99, something around there. This was their, I think, this is their last album they came up with. So through whatever, I don't know. They basically, I think, had two albums. They had one that was before this, which I think is the better one, which I've shown before. What's it called? I don't know. It's got like some Voice of America. That's it. It's got like it's like a kind of a very minor threat looking cover with a dude in the Reagan Youth or something to do with a hood, doing a radio show kind of thing. Going on the cover, black and white, multicolor, like minor threat. Yeah, this one only had CD, I think, and then they had a couple singles. I have pretty much their entire discography at this point, except for one single. They had split with, I think it was Wasted Youth, another Northern Virginia band. But yeah, pretty straightforward punk. Nothing. It's not like Fugazi or something. Yeah, it's straight up punk. Yeah, again, I think like not quite hardcore, but it's a little on the harder edge, snotty punk. Um, their earlier stuff was a slightly more political leaning. This is still a little angry, but I think they calmed down a little bit on this album. But still pretty solid. That's a pretty solid 4. I'll keep it because I rather like the Suspects. I'm happy to have that. Yeah, a lot of recent pickups. This one, Sonic Youth, SYR4. So SYR4s are more, experimental albums. These are the ones that are definitely not for everyone. This is one of the early collaborations with Jim O'Rourke. I think this was before he fully on joined the band. This was around 94, 95, I want to say. This is one, so it's number 4, so it's one of the earlier ones. This is actually a double CD, and what it is Sonic Youth, along with a bunch of avant-garde musicians, or it's called the End of the Century or End of the 20th Century. So what they're doing is they're taking these avant-garde works. So this is definitely not for everyone. So it's got works by like John Cage. It's got works by a couple Christian Wolf ones on there, a couple John Cage more than a couple John Cages. Steve Reich's on here. Yoko Ono's on here. Takahisa Kosugi, whose work's also on here, but he's also on here. Jim O'Rourke's helping out, as I said. Who else is helping out? Christian Wolf is actually helping out, so he's covering his own work. Coco more their kid, Thurston and Gordon's kids on here. So it's all kinds of people on here. It's pretty far out there. It's not typical Sonic Youth. It's not no wave. It's full on avant-garde, experimental, little jazzy-ish, but it's full on avant-garde. Um, I really love this. I'm kind of under the impression Sean does not, but I don't know. I really like this album. 4.5 all day long. Um, Definitely have to. It's one of those ones you gotta kind of be in the mood for, and it's definitely like a either you're sitting by yourself and blasting it, or you got some headphones on, chilling. It's not. It probably would be very distracting if you were trying to work to it. This one, this is one. Thank you, Sean. He sent me this because he sent me the book talking about. I forgot what you call those little books. The 33 third RPM books, kind of describing how like the background on this album. So and I was like, oh crap, I don't have this anymore. So I had this exact CD in my collection at one point, and yeah, Sean, I guess he upgraded his copy, so he sent me his old one. So thank you again, Sean. Awesome, you always send me shit. So I got a small stack I'm working on for you. Yeah, I just need to get some more cool shit to throw in there. But yeah, anyway, excellent album, you know it. I think for me it's like a 4.5. At probably at one point I would have given it a 5. I've just played it so damn much. There are certain tracks I just kind of skip now because I kind of get annoyed because I've listened to them so damn many times. But yeah. Anyway, yep. This one's a great noise one. It's a little, it's not as abrasive as some other stuff. Basically, Don King is 2/3 of the old no wave noise band Mars, and so this was formed like very early 80s, probably 1980ish. This album I think is 85ish. It was the music on here was written by the third member of Mars, who then decided he wasn't making music anymore. So the rest of the band, I guess, grabbed a couple other musicians and formed a new band to cover his material. So it's got a little more of a rhythm and a beat and a little funk to it. I think I only got to listen to this like once, 1.5 times, but it's a little more instrumentally, less abrasive, even though it is definitely in the noise idiom. Um, yeah, great album. Really like this. 4.5, better than Mars. The Mars one, I don't know if I'm going to listen to it as much. I may or may not keep it in the collection in the long run. It's kind of neat piece of history. If I kept it, it would be more for that than listening pleasure. But this one I actually really enjoyed. 4.5. This again, this was one I was recommended by Sean because I was in the mood for Mercury Rev kind of music, but I was like not quite getting into Mercury Rev. He's like, this is better. I think he's right. I am told their music is the band is Destroyer. I'm told their albums are very yeah, uneven. This one's a very solid 5, so definitely check that out if you like Mercury Rev. Destroyer's Rubies. You can get this one on vinyl. Don King, I'm not sure. I think this got a vinyl release, but the CD is much easier to get a hold of. And yeah, this was like a thrift on. I'm quite happy to have it. I remember when this came out. I know my friends had this. I never got it though. Never been a massive Hendrix fan, but I do like Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix Definitive Experience or whatever, Ultimate Experience. So it's got a little bit from his entire career on there. If you grew up in the 90s, you probably know the CD anyway. Remastered. It's a decent remaster, but it definitely sounds a little different. And then it's got a little booklet. Booklet doesn't really add anything, to be honest. It talks a little bit about this. Well, no, I take that back. So it does go song by song, gives a little background on each song. But the biographical information on Hendrix is pretty sparse in here. It's really fluff and it doesn't really go into much. It's very fluff. But yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, for me, this is pretty good. I do want to get. I have his like first album. I have this. And I have like was it greatest hits or whatever. Yeah, I do need to get some of his later stuff because that's kind of where it gets more interesting. Anyway, um, actually, I do have some. I have one of his more plenty. I can't posthumously or whatever that was. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's what I got for you this week. Yeah, I've been buying a lot of stuff. I just haven't had the time to listen to it. So, just maybe get some kind of more avant-garde stuff coming in my next videos if I get to it. So anyway, take care, guys. I think I'm gonna chill, watch whatever that Game of Thrones crap is. Not sure. The first episode was all just okay. So take care, guys, and I'll catch you next week sometime.